Hey, everybody. Welcome to Network to Net Worth. I'm your host, Guy Dunn, and I'm so excited about today's episode. Not just because we have a fantastic guest, but because this is someone I've known personally for well over 10 years. Today, I'm sitting down with Michelle Snow. She is a powerhouse connector, a coach, an entrepreneur, and an all around community builder. Michelle is the founder of Michelle Snow Company and the Grow with Snow Foundation, and she spent years helping people tap into their potential and build meaningful success through connection. We met over 10 years ago at a Delaware County Community College event, and I've watched her journey unfold ever since. She's one of those people whose energy lights up a room and whose mission is as real as it gets. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And you're right. I mean, a lot of times we have these conversations with people who we believe in and enjoy, but it's something else when you have these conversations with people who actually know you. So thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. Well, you know what? Let's rewind the clock a bit. Do you remember that event where we met at Delaware County Community College? You were
Oh,
all
yes.
you were already so energized and committed to your mission. What stage of your journey were you in at that time?
We were past the dream and idea stage. And so we were in the birthing coming out stage where I had a lot of expectation, as you said, high hopes, lots of energy, belief in myself. However, we were not proven in the marketplace yet.
Okay. Can you take us back to what got you started in the world of coaching and leadership?
Well, that wasn't the dream. That wasn't the plan, and it was absolutely not the goal. I mean, I was a corporate HR girl, so I worked for nearly 20 years in the human resources industry, primarily at banks and all corporate industries. My background working in corporate America in some sort of human resources capacity was in Aramark, Merck, the Pep Boys corporate office, Citizens Bank corporate office, PNC corporate office. Like everything I knew was some sort of corporate. And so when I realized that I was not getting joy working full time in that capacity, but enjoying the work, I just wanted to have some level of freedom. So I thought, okay, with all this corporate experience I have, these working for these juggernauts, let me just take that as an independent practice. But Guy, no one told me, Michelle, you are known as the girl who works for these companies. No one knows what a Grow with Snow is or Michelle Snow Company is, right? So that was a huge blind spot because here I am with all this passion and excitement and what I think are great skills, but people don't didn't want to take a chance on a newbie. And that was the shift because small businesses and micro businesses didn't have the same bias. They were just in pain and wanted to be free of it. So they didn't care. They didn't care that I
Right.
was the new girl on the block.
Right. No, I hear you. So you basically had to shift your passion from what you like to do, which is the training, to a new audience that needed you bad.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to learn how to shift from working more so in a corporate environment to working with very micro, solo, side hustle, and ultimately small businesses. But for me, it wasn't a huge learning curve because people are people are people. So
Hmm.
these were leaders who just needed to be better. The challenge was just that the money was much, it was very different than what I expected.
Right. No, I understand that because building up that cash flow that's able to sustain you as a small business is a lot different from having that paycheck coming in on a regular basis.
Yes, or even those contracts that,
Yeah.
that I was
Yep.
prepared to get. I was prepared to get.
I know from following your work over the years that you didn't start with a big team or fancy backing. Okay. You really built this mission brick by brick. So, what were some of the first things you did to start building your brand and gaining traction?
I mean, so the younger generation, like those who are launching businesses within the last 5 years or more, they have all of our records, right? Records meaning they have the records of the elders and the business owners before them, of mom, of auntie. So they come into the workplace with a different level of expertise. So they come in thinking about their brand, right? That's where I'm going with this,
Hmm.
because they have the records. You and I come from a generation that's a little bit more older, more hands on. So thinking about the brand was just, it just wasn't on the table. It was, how do I serve with great ethics? How do I serve so that it's meaningful? And how do I stay alive on these streets while doing it? It was just that, like answering those questions daily, not knowing that that was the recipe, that was the foundational principles to building a brand. But that was not how I saw it. It was later when people says, "Oh yeah, when you work with the snow community, you know, they're kind, they're consistent, they're inspirational. You always laugh, you always eat." And I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We do that.
Yeah,
We
right.
do do that.
You always,
So
I
that was
always
the
like to go to
start.
your events when you put out a good layout of food.
We
But
we
yeah, it's
all we
definitely a lot
started
more
off
than
with
that,
food.
huh?
We started off with them. We're going to keep going with it. But just to answer the last part of your question, we it was me and a lot of people like you, Guy, that said, I'm going to give her some slice of my brilliance. I'm going to give her some slice of hope, some slice of asset. So it was me and a lot of people who said, while you are figuring it out, let me give you this little slice of the pie to help to sustain you on your road. So we functioned that way for the initial first few years.
Got you. Was there any pivotal moment? I'm sure there were pivotal moments throughout your journey, but was anything early that made you feel like, wow, I am on the right path?
Well, um, mm, I'm choked up in a bit because I had this conversation with clients all the time, and we ask these questions about what was the pivotal moment, why did you stick with it? I am a professional development expert.
Hmm.
And most people understand what that means. But for those of you who are hearing that for the first time, that means that my service delivery is very internal. You can't touch it like if someone says, I'm going to open up a store and sell dresses. I'm going to open up a car lot and sell vehicles. I'm going to open up a restaurant and sell cheesesteaks. It's much easier to manage and understand and build when you're looking at inventory and consumers.
Hmm.
What I offer is something that you cannot touch, but you can feel and see. So it was very early on, in that first year, that we knew we had something special, because people would walk away with that warm and fuzzy, and that glow in their eyes, or that tear, or that compliment to say, no one ever told me like that. So I was always inspired by people's intrinsic results. So we always knew, the brand always knew that it had something. Why did we stick with it? I would say honestly, just a level of insanity. I mean,
Some people like to work in chaos.
yeah, because it was so bad behind the scenes at times. I mean, only someone who is slightly out of their minds could have continued to work on an uphill journey. Yes, we're having great events. Yes, we're having awesome workshops. Yes, people are smiling and clapping. Yes, they're getting the business Holy Ghost. Yes, people are smarter. They're not alone. They're not isolated. People found joy. People found connections. Oh boy, they found it, but internally that was not necessarily profitable. We
Right.
weren't necessarily feeling it in the bank account the way people were feeling it in their hearts and their emotions and their vision and their insight. And so it was also challenging to get people to pay for something that they couldn't necessarily pull off of a rack.
Hmm.
But there was this tug that you're in too deep to turn around, Michelle. There's just been so much invested.
That's true. I know that I've been there a few times, um, for sure, especially since I've been in business all of my life. Um, and you know what? Let me just ask you a question too. I know that your path hasn't always been rosy. We've all dealt with serious challenges, and I know that you've had health crises. You've had a lot of different things that happen while you're launching your business and during your business. And um, do you would you be open to sharing how you navigated just life being challenging and keep moving forward while that happens?
Well, in our community, right, all things grow with snow. It is essential that people understand that while this is not a religious organization, and we do not push our religious beliefs on other clients or members, I am very clear that having a divine relationship with my God is non-negotiable. People know that
Amen.
I identify, right? People know that I identify as a Christian. I do not hide that, but I am very respectful of other people's way of faith, and I think that people just get that
Mhm.
my core values come from a place of good ethics and honoring God, because this work for me, although it is business, in my heart it is my form of ministry.
Mhm.
So, um, looking back on the most difficult times, and I've told the story a few times when people have interviewed me. I remember being at our first corporate office in Philadelphia in Center City on Cherry Street, and we had all this square footage and events and a big time excitement around us, and we literally couldn't pay our rent, like literally, and the rent was due every single month. And this month in particular, a client promised to pay, a brand new client. Hey, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this super package from you, and this super package would have given us great relief.
Mhm.
And the client said, "I'm on my way. I'm down the street. I'm around the corner. I'm parking out back." And so I'm waiting for hours for this client to show up. And finally, the building was closing, and I realized, yeah, she's not coming. So this was just some sort of game or scam for that client. But for me, it was a matter of keeping my business or not. And when I finally accepted that I was just scammed or played, I got in my car and I started driving home in tears. And I was so distraught thinking about, now we've got to figure out a plan B, that I started throwing up on myself in the car,
Mm.
right? I literally was on, for those of you who are from the Philadelphia area, you know that we have a big avenue called Spring Garden. And I'm in the
Mhm.
car, literally without control, doing this. So in the street, driving. And that was a wake up call that I've got to learn how to do better and be more efficient and more thorough. And not everybody is here because they truly have the best intentions.
Right. Right. I hear you. Well, listen, I applaud that. I applaud you coming out of that because I remember when you were on Cherry Street. I've been to your office there. I think I've probably been to every one of the offices that you've had. Um, but listen, that's a story that just shows that you can come out of anything because the ups and downs are going to be there, but that's life. But
Yes, sir.
you've always been someone who seemed to meet the right people at the right time. Is there a moment in your journey when a single connection led to something big, a new opportunity, a partnership, a turning point in your business, just something that was like, wow, this is it?
I waited for that moment a long time, guy. I kept thinking that it was just going to be some major celebrity that I would meet, and I would finally be able to rest or to breathe. And so I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for that
Still
moment.
wait.
But what has happened here's my evolved revelation. I have I consider myself special in the sense that God's light has allowed me to attract some really phenomenal leaders, locally, regionally, or nationally. I have been in the homes of super millionaires, super wealthy people who have led countries, right? Like this brand has sat next to and been involved with all of them, but not one was the juggernaut that was the answer. And I prayed
Okay.
about that. Like, well, can you just send the one so I can go sit down? How about that?
Hmm.
And so my evolved revelation is that it's crumbs to cake. I
Hmm.
have the distinct pleasure not to just have a cool finished product, but all of these delicious different types of crumbs, different sizes, different types of sugar, different types of nutrition, have all come together. And I have the opportunity to lead an organization where all of these individual players create one delicious outcome. And it takes all of them in order for snow to grow. There is never going to be just the one because I am about a community, not about an individualistic plan.
No, I hear you, and I see that, and that makes a difference. To be, you build a community. I mean, you have built a community. I see your following. I see all the people that um, that go to your events, but also that sing your praises. So I see that all the time, and that to me is just an impressive part of you that I always. That's why I'm always coming back to say, oh, let me. I know Michelle's doing an event, can't make this one, but I'm going to make the next one, and I do, because
You
I
do.
got to show up for you, just because.
Thank you.
Um, how's your approach to relationship building help open those doors? How, I mean, because obviously that's your thing. So give me like some kind of framework of how that works and how you evolve to that, and what's the secret sauce to you getting all these people to follow you.
Well, once again, when you're building in the younger part of your business, you really don't know exactly what you're doing, right? You're
Mhm.
just using your ethics and going forward and praying for a great outcome. Now, because we've had some time, the business is now 13 years old. Now, because we've had all of these years to look back and to measure the testimonials and the success, I'm better able to say to you how we're doing it in a way that I couldn't even 5 years ago. So while I do have and had many mentors, there is no one mentor that is the core point of success. Guy, you are a mentor. How many times have I called you and said, "Hey, I'm stuck here. I don't understand this. I need to be encouraged here. How do I clear this up?" So you're part of that team.
I
Another really
appreciate that.
instrumental mentor that I believe I've taken a lot of my relationship framework from is the dearly departed Earl Harvey.
Mhm.
For those of you who know about the Philadelphia Black Marketplace, we had a legend in our hands. And Earl Harvey was known for having a Black professional newspaper and for showing up for small businesses. And he was known in government and in small business. And Earl's formula was that when he first meet you, he greet you with a lot of joy and a lot of enthusiasm. Mostly, I have heard
Mhm.
that some people said, "I don't know about there. I don't think he likes me." Okay, mostly. He gave you a lot of big joy and a big enthusiasm. And he was always excited to see that he met someone new.
Okay.
Unbeknownst to me, I was taking on that formula watching him. Earl was also known and notorious for having events that you did learn, but you also made great connections and you had fun and you ate. Well, I didn't know that I was mirroring Earl, but guess what? We do that as well. And Earl would
Yep.
put people in his newspaper. He would showcase you to the world through his medium, which was his paper. And
Hmm.
although I didn't go the route of the newspaper because the times and the generation had changed, but social media came in. And so I took that formula and showcased our clients online. So I would say that the Earl Harvey system is a system that I very much have adopted to. It absolutely works. And what it does for me as a leader is I walk into rooms expecting the best from people.
Okay.
Right? I don't go into rooms with the side eye or who's here to hate, who's the crook, who's the thief, who's the liar, who's the bum. I go in with my greatest joy and best expectations for people that they can be kind. And from there, I'm like, oh, hey, well, we've got an event, we've got an activity. So why is this important to you as a listener? This is important because for us, showing kindness first takes away the itch of being defensive,
Right.
and it allows people to show their very best selves. Then we have a safe place for them to land, which is come to an activity, come to an event. There'll be other like minded people there. So then you're engrossed into another environment where there's kindness. So once again, you see, like, I got to be careful in the slow community because these people actually like her. These people out here trying to be
Yeah.
nice. What's that
Right.
all about, right?
Right.
So you
Right.
understand what I stand for. And then from there we can look at, all right, let's start finding out more about what your value is.
That's cool. I mean, one of the things it just I envision a shield that shields you from the negativity. Once you walk into the room, negativity is like outside, and I've never felt any negativity in any of the events that you've given, for sure. So that's a wonderful thing. Um,
It's it's
let's
critical,
talk about
guy.
some lighter stuff you have, because
Hmm.
networking is also full of those "did that really happen" moments. Do you have any memorable networking stories where something funny, unexpected, or just plain human that stuck with you, that was like, I can't believe it happened, but it ended up being okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tuesday that just passed. I forgot that I was hosting, leading, speaking at, presenting, and curating a business graduation.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I there's a story for that for another day, but I'll say at 2 minutes before the hour, the client is calling saying, "Hey, I'm just curious why you're not here." And I'm like, "Here, where?"
We're here, right?
Right? We're at your building, and the graduation is tonight, and I just wanted to know why we don't see you here. Now, he's this client is calling 2 minutes before the hour. It starts in 2 minutes,
Oh,
right? And I'm prepared for that graduation to happen the following Tuesday at that time.
oh my
So, what does
God.
that mean to your audience? We literally had nothing together
Yep.
because it's supposed to be next Tuesday. Now, please understand that means that the client is there with the executive team, the client is there with the people who are graduating.
Hmm.
The client is there in 2 minutes, ready to take the microphone and say, "Welcome to your graduation." And I am 20 minutes away with nothing.
Mm.
All right. So, just to break this story down, because this podcast can't be all day and all night,
Hmm.
I said, I'll be there in 15 minutes. So, I just started driving, screaming and crying in my car and saying, I don't know what I'm going to do. I screwed up. And I started driving to the building. I'm hitting all green lights. There's no traffic delays. And I start praying. And so, Guy, as I'm driving to the building, I realize, what am I going to do when I get there? This is a graduation. I have
Hmm.
no team and I have no food. So,
Mm.
about a block and a half before we get there, Guy, I started to be intentional and calm down and pray. And I said, show me, God, where there is food and help. I have 20 minutes to fix this. And so we ran into some stores. I told the cash register person, the cashier, don't look at these tears, just hear the words coming out of my mouth.
Hmm.
So the end of the story is this, Guy. The client was very upset.
Mhm.
Rightfully so.
Right, right.
By 6:20, they called me at 2 minutes before the hour. By 25 minutes after the hour, my staff showed up. By 6:30, the first pan of food was dropped off. At 6:45, we had a complete entire buffet. The staff was there fully loaded. We created their gift center. We had a photo team, and the people who graduated, they knew that something weird happened in the beginning, but by
Mhm.
the end, they had an entire full graduation with gifts.
Excellent.
And
Excellent.
so I shared that long drawn out story because there was no way that we could have pulled that off without one, some level of insanity, but two, just the passion to see people win even in the most chaotic situations. And the
Right.
client stayed because they probably wanted to see, I want
If
to
you
see
can do
this.
it. Yep.
I want to I
Yep.
want to see this.
I want to see
And
them pull this one off, right? Well,
we did.
that's wonderful. That's an amazing story. Obviously, you know, sometimes pressure uh, creates some amazing things to happen, even when most people don't believe it's going to happen. So,
Yeah.
kudos to you for that.
Thanks.
Um, Staying visible, connected, and intentional. It takes systems, especially when you're growing a brand like you have. What tools, what rhythms, what has helped you stay consistent with outreach and engagement? You know, how are you doing what you do with, social media, with LinkedIn, all these things, the platforms, but what tools do you use to help you manage your connections with your network?
So I want to encourage people who are either new in their business or struggling with maintaining it all. You have to have an attitude of firing on all cylinders. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you have to have deeply ingrained in you, firing on all cylinders. We missed the generation, or either we've crossed over from the generation where you can say, "Oh, I run ads in the Sunday paper every week."
Mm-hmm.
So that works for us. We missed a generation where they can say, "Well, I just do mailers," or "We
Mm-hmm.
have this event and everybody knows just to come." Once upon a time, that was a thing, but this new generation of leaders, we have to have all cylinders firing. What does that mean? Well, one, as horrible as it can be at times, are we listening to and watching the news at times?
Oh,
A lot of
Lord.
people say, I don't watch the news, Michelle. Well, I don't watch it every day either, but I got to catch up to know what changes are happening around the world.
Right.
We also have to be mindful of the constant changes in technology. What are the new exciting tools? Of course, AI is a thing today, but it'll be something else tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then managing those systems that everybody's familiar with, like Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, etc. So, Guy, what I'm trying to say to your audience is that there isn't one thing that does it, because you're also out here shaking hands and kissing babies and going to special events and buying tickets and being a sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Right there,
Mm-hmm.
there is at least 30 or 40 different avenues that the average business owner has to manage when it comes to staying visible and staying relevant.
Got you. Got you. So, um, the tools that are out there, and I've already told you that I'm getting ready to launch a networking tool, to help people with that. But you know, the social media. So I'm assuming you have somebody on your team that works with you to help your social media and automates your emails and things to be able to keep people in the loop, because it's crazy out there, especially when you have a large network. Because I remember I used to do newsletters every month, um, just to keep people in that loop. So do you have a team of people that work with you do that? Do you do a lot of that stuff on your own? I know that you've grown, and I see the people at your events with the Grow With Snow shirts on. So I do know you have people working and doing the things that need to be done. But tell me how that works for you, staff wise.
I mean, we're still a small business, right?
Okay.
We are a small business like many of you. We are a very experienced small business with a different maybe level of capacity of experience. So when you're a small business, the CEO still does a lot of the hands-on tasks. And I
Yeah.
don't
What hat are
care
you wearing
what,
today?
say it again.
What hat are you wearing today?
That is exactly the question that we asked ourselves. So I want to encourage this audience, no matter how successful Guy and I, how many major clients we deal, how many big speaking engagements we have, we're still small businesses as of today. So there are times where I am absolutely the one who created the post, who ran the post, who checked on the post, who commented on the post, who designs the email. The difference now is that I am no longer a solo shop. We
Right.
do have an administrative team. We have contractors that we hire for special projects. So all of that takes away the burden of me feeling like I did in the early days where it's like, oh my gosh, how do I manage all of this? But I
Right.
still very much still get my hands involved.
Gotcha. Got to get your hands dirty. Um, so you know what? I imagine a lot of people listening are trying to build something similar, a mission driven business rooted in relationships. What principles or daily mindsets help guide your choices?
Well, wake up winning
I hear
again.
you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that is the core foundation of who I have evolved to as a leader, and the science behind all that we teach. Wake up winning again, and it's intentional that we say wake up winning again because we understand that it's a process. And waking up with enthusiasm and joy when you are running your own business is not a natural thing to do feeling good, because you could have gone to bed the night before with people owing you, you owing
Hmm.
people, some law or economic change that you had nothing to do with, what your president did or didn't say.
Hmm.
Okay, like there's so much that we're overcoming, that it is a sort of a commandment within the culture of our community where we tell people, no, you don't you don't wonder if you're going to do it. You have to make a decision. All right, I am going to wake up winning again despite any shenanigans that I may face. This may not be easy, this may be a bit more intensity to make it happen, but that's the first part. So what does that mean? One is that you wake up with thankfulness and
Hmm.
joy and excitement. Even if you got a headache or you're tired and you don't want to be bothered with that day, you overcome it quickly by moving into gratitude. Um, and you remember that yesterday was important because it was a stepping stone and it was history to get you there, but it is absolutely history. And so it matters, but it doesn't matter right now because right now has to happen.
Hmm.
And today could be the day where something wonderful happens. So that's our core fundamentals.
Excellent. That is a great mantra to live by. Wake up winning.
Again,
All right. Yeah. Again. Wake up winning again and again and again. All right. Well, let's talk to young Michelle for a second. The version of you just starting out. What's something you wish you knew back then that you know now? What advice would you give your younger self or anyone listening who's early in their journey?
oh yeah, I mean that's an easy question because I answer it all the time for businesses that come behind me. Don't do what I did. My business relied on grit and good ethics and hope in the beginning.
Hmm.
That may have been the nucleus for why we didn't fall apart, but it was also the the leader in why we were not successful faster.
Hmm.
Grit, good ethics, excitement does not pay bills.
Right.
and it does not land contracts. So, what I wish that I understood better when we got started was, how am I going to make some money right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's going to pay me tonight, tomorrow, and Friday? Because my joy, yeah, it's keeping me on these streets, but none of my bills are being paid, and I'm borrowing
Right.
money, or I'm late, or my bank account is bouncing, not bounced, bouncing.
Mm-hmm.
So, go into your business with an understanding of what will pay for the bills while you figure it out, because
Right.
it may take time to smooth your business out to where you have it to a place where it is paying. And I like to use this example to just wake some people up. Americans for too long have been starstruck. Oh, look at this celebrity, this $1 trillion, such and such. Look at this person with zillion, dillion followers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Americans have been so um, in awe of celebrities and numbers and money that you didn't even, many didn't even understand that the celebrityism and the numbers were a game. It wasn't even true success. Look at the person who ended up buying that well-known social media platform that I won't say the name of, right? Like, everybody just was so enamored over the person whose name starts with an E. Like, oh, this person, this person. So
Mm-hmm.
when this person bought this really big social media platform, like, they literally didn't know that small businesses, small, like when you start a business, rather, that it is all night. You got to find profit for it. You got to find ads, people to, I mean, like, none of the fundamentals of business this leader even understood. Why? Because we didn't know that this leader was getting all of its big contracts from government.
Right.
So sure, if the government has is giving you $1 billion contracts to keep you open because you're too big to fail, sure, you have no idea what it means to keep a budget or to be frugal or thoughtful. And so this was super important, because I want people to understand that you really need to understand how to get paid ethically to keep you out of jail. Because the
Mm-hmm.
other piece, we didn't just see celebrities who didn't understand business but were too big to fail, so they had bailouts. We saw people who flat out were lying and
Mm-hmm.
making up success in business, and now they're closed, shut down, on the run, done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so all of that matters, and learn that first, how to get your money.
Got you. Get that money. Well, that's, you know what? That's why I went, when I went to college, the only degree I wanted to get was an accounting degree, because I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. I said, I got to learn how to count my money. So that I got to get my accounting degree, and I did, and that's my story. Well, Michelle,
Wow.
listen, thank you for sharing so openly. It's always powerful to hear how someone's purpose, their network, and perseverance come together over time. For everyone listening, I hope this conversation gave you some encouragement to stay connected, stay genuine, and show up for the people around you, because that's how real opportunities are born. Michelle, before we go, how can folks connect with you and learn more about what you're up to these days?
Well, all things Grow with Snow on most platforms. Grow with Snow, or my name. And you can also Google Michelle Snow Business Coach, or growwithsnow.com. And I also want to share with you that our live CEO Monday calls happen twice a month. So you can hang out with us on Mondays, but check us out on Grow with Snow for links. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Excellent. Well, listen, everybody, this is Guy Dunn, and I'm with Michelle Snow. And I just want to let you know that this is what you'll be getting when you come to Net Worth. Have a great day. And until the next week we get out there, make some business. Thanks, Michelle.